Hey guys, welcome to Living Satisfied. On this channel, we talk about different ways to live a more satisfied life through various topics. Today, we're going to be talking about bone broth. This is a two-part series. The first topic is what is bone broth and what are the health benefits, and part two is all about how to make bone broth. I am joined here today with my little baby, as you can see down there, and apparently my dog. Jones was taking a nap, but he was teething really bad today, and so he is up and he's just gonna play below us, and we'll see how that goes. So let's begin with talking about the difference between broth, stock, and bone broth. And I'm gonna just talk about the chicken side of it, not like fish and beef broth and all that stuff, because those are pretty much the same, but a little bit different, but we're gonna focus on chicken. So chicken broth is made from chicken meat. It's typically simmered for about 45 minutes to maybe 2 hours. It's really light and can be used in a lot of different ways, and so that is typically what you find in the store. There's not a lot of health benefits for chicken broth. It just kind of is. I guess it can be a little bit better than water, but it's just kind of is a different flavor more than anything. Chicken stock is made from some bones and some meat. So it's a little bit of both, and it's typically simmered for a little bit longer, a couple hours, maybe like anywhere between like 4 to 8 hours, sometimes upwards of 12 hours. And the great thing about using the bones is that you're getting the collagen out of the bones, and you're getting a lot of the minerals and different vitamins that the bones offer. So stock is a really good option if you don't have like bone broth near you, or you're not gonna make it yourself, because stock does have a good amount of gelatin and a good amount of different vitamins and minerals in the broth. Now, bone broth is a pretty big step away from just broth and stock. A lot of times they're used interchangeably, broth and stock, which is fine. You probably hear me kind of intermittently calling them different things. But bone broth, as you can see from the title, is mainly made from bones, and is also simmered for 12 to 24 hours, so it's a lot longer. It takes a lot more time, which is why if you buy it like in the store or something like that, it's more expensive, but it's really easy to do. The amount of time that you're actually like handling the broth is maybe like an hour total. So when you're making broth, a lot of times what people do is they will add an acid like apple cider vinegar, which will help break down the bones even further. So you're getting a lot of the really great vitamins and minerals from the bones themselves. And when you make a good batch of bone broth, you'll actually find once it's cooled, it's like almost all gelatin. So there's not a lot of like, it's a really thick liquid, if not pretty solid liquid, which is why it's so great and has so many health benefits, is because of its rich nature. As far as the health benefits for bone broth, it is really high in calcium, magnesium, phosphorus. It has high contents of glycosamine, which is really great for joint care and arthritis. It's high in glycine. It helps with the utilization of bile salts and allowing your blood to flow better. And really, it's countless the amount of benefits that it has, and I can go into a lot more of the science for it, but I feel like my audience here is probably not wanting as deep of the science side. So I'm going to put some links down below for like more in-depth studies on bone broth and all the different vitamins and nutrients that it uses. But ultimately, bone broth is really just great for your overall health, especially for like cold and flu season, when your immunity is just not as great and you're not getting as much sunlight, so you're not getting vitamin D. Bone broth is really great for helping your body just run to the best of its ability. You can use bone broth in a couple of different ways. You can cook with it, like add obviously to like soups or anywhere else you would normally use broth or stock. And you can put it in rice, so again, you can replace water with broth instead. And you can also just sip on it. That's something that I personally like to do. I just add like a little bit of salt, a little bit of celery salt, and maybe like a couple other seasonings, and I'll just sip on it like throughout the day, or especially in the morning time when I wake up, and it's really delicious. So if you're having digestive issues, bone broth is the way to go. It is so easily digestible and it's so great for you versus taking like vitamins and supplements that just can't digest as well and you're not necessarily gonna absorb it as well. Bone broth is really readily absorbable for your body, and so it's a really great alternative to other supplements that you might be taking. So bone broth is also really great for people that are having serious digestive issues and are on different diets, like maybe GAPS diet or a different like autoimmune protocol for various digestive issues. I will say that you might want to dive in a little bit further as far as like what to put in your broth for like as far as vegetables and things like that, but and like the amount of time that it's simmering, but ultimately it's really easily digestible. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with bone broth. I personally like to use just the basics: carrots, onions, celery, and garlic. But you can use things like oranges and rosemary and different like herbs or different vegetables or fruits in your bone broth, and it is so delicious. I personally just rather just do a really simple one, but sometimes I will take like a separate batch and do like a little extra simmer with like oranges and rosemary or lemons or something like that. So that is the basics of what bone broth is. If you have any other questions, write them in the comments down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more things like that, let me know. Make sure to check the next video, which is the how to make bone broth, which I feel like is probably the most wanted video. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Don't forget to press the subscribe button down below to see more videos like this. Bye guys. And my dog's barking. I had to sneeze. Sadie!